I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we're going to be going over your weekly forecast. A very kind soul, I forgot to write her name down, I'm so sorry, so I can't share it offhand, was even kind enough to retweet that last week's video and express how excited she was, so I'm so pumped you guys are as excited as I am for weekly forecasts. Anyways, I wanted to share something with you that I don't normally get an impression of, but I have this very intense, strong, I guess you could say inkling, energy, whatever, that this week is like what I would refer to as a turnaround week. And what I mean by that is if you've been kind of stuck in a funk lately, or you've felt off, or you just kind of can't seem to get out of bed or do anything different, or maybe even have been worrying if you haven't been making the most of your time and you're like, maybe I should have been doing more. It just feels like this is a huge twist or change in your regular schedule, and you're going to start to find yourself a lot more motivated to do more fun and beneficial activities. And the interesting thing is, it doesn't feel like it's a total 180, like you're totally shifted and changed. You know, that old person last week, that wasn't me, this is me now. It's more of this happy, uplifting, motivating energy where you feel an incentive and feel excited to try something new. And the idea of doing something beneficial for yourself feels like an exciting new hobby rather than like, I know I should probably be doing that. You know what I mean? So it feels very yellow. It feels like a very yellow energy week, if the best way I can put it, because I see and feel colors very strongly. So yeah, get excited for our yellow turnaround week. I just thought I'd share that with you. So we have 4 groups in front of us, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you have, we can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group with its marked timestamp. And let's get ready for group number 1. Group number 1, let's look at your weekly forecast by looking at the cards. We've got Cleaning House Oracle card upright. All right, that's going to be pretty literal in this particular case. 4 of Swords in reverse. The High Priestess upright. All right, I'm speaking to a pretty magical individual. The Moon card in reverse, the Knight of Wands in reverse, 7 of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Let me have this a little more in center. I hope that looks good. I try to make these as like aesthetically pleasing as possible. Hopefully this doesn't look goofy. Don't worry about it. Anyways, okay, so this is kind of, wow, this is a pretty magical time period for you. Just for anybody who's like, you know, enjoying doing tarot reading for themselves or whatever, whenever we get a combination with the Moon card and the High Priestess card, it definitely just depends on the reversals and stuff like that. But this most likely will pop up if you're connecting to somebody who has a heightened level of magical or psychic abilities. I often get this when I'm connecting to witches, but obviously everybody is capable of this stuff. So this is for people who just naturally are in tune with the universe. Definitely prophetic dreams. This is going to be a dream time period for you, which is really interesting. So if you feel, I don't know how to say this, like off or called to do something, especially if you're being called into nature, or you don't know why, you just need to do this thing, or you're having like a sense something's going to happen but you can't explain why, go with it, practice it, use it to your advantage, because you have a natural gift. It's going to be really popping out this week. I will just say this, Spirit's telling me like that's going to be a heavy theme for you in the beginning of the week that might get distracted along the way and then get reconfirmed by the end of the week. So I'm just going to point that out. So let's start off about the beginning of the week. I can see over here, you're going to start to have a lot of, how do I express this? Like waking up before your alarm type of feeling. And for some of you who are like, I don't have an alarm, well, guess what? This is going to be a lot of like, I don't know why, but I just woke up at 6:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? Definitely make note of the time periods you wake up naturally, because this is going to be sort of like a message you're receiving from the universe, and you want to look into it, because this could either be a confirmation for a dream you're currently having, a thought you have right at that second you wake up, or it could be sort of a predictive kind of message you're getting that you just kind of want to take note of, then let it, slip through your mind, don't think about it. And then when it does pop up later in that day, understand that like you're basically developing the beginning stages of properly being able to communicate to whatever you believe in, whether you feel that this is your spirit guides or the universe. There are like universal messages you're essentially getting this week. But now for some of you, I just want to point out, for in this case, who are waking up really early, some of you are going to wake up like insanely early, like 4 a.m, 3 a.m early. In this particular case, at least for the first couple, I bumped the mic. For the first couple days of the week, definitely just go with it and take that time period as like your magical couple hours where, the world is asleep. If you're staying with anybody else, everybody else is asleep, and you can kind of do whatever you want to do. Definitely take that time period to have the most fun, have a little like dance party to yourself, go outside and see what your yard looks like or your street looks like in the way it didn't, it looks so crazy with nobody out kind of feeling, and just feel those vibes, enjoy yourself. This is going to make those type of activities, or that whatever you've been kind of wanting to do but felt a little shy to do because maybe people could hear you singing to yourself or whatever, this is going to make it feel super magical, and you're going to just feel like you're having fun and realize that you're going to be connected to the idea that when the opportunity presents itself, just go with it, and teaching you that going with the flow is like the best kind of, how do I say this, like form of healing and being yourself right now. And this is teaching you to do that and take advantage of when these opportunities arise, because we can't control when they do, but they do. As I said before, we talked about how this is definitely linked to your natural, magical, and psychic abilities popping up. Your intuition is going to be crazy strong this week, especially in the beginning of the week. Go with it. Definitely get in the habit of writing down any sort of dreams or just strong feelings you have. Start collecting them and reviewing them. And by writing them down, they're going to manifest more, and you're going to be able to interpret them better. So this is like a really strong connection time period for you. But it looks like during this time period of fun and a dream-like sort of escape is the best way I can put it, you're going to have something kind of unlocked. Now, the interesting thing is that seems to be a theme for you this week, unlocking, like opening, seeing something, secrets revealed to you, something that was in front of you before, you didn't see before, and now you see it now kind of thing. The first time it happens in the week, this is more like something like a spiritual sort of awakening, or learning something that you didn't know you could do before, like again on a more like psychic level and connection thing. And it's going to actually kind of mess you up a little bit. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't upset you. It's more just that it almost gets you. In some cases, it could be like an overexcited energy, but I'm way more pulling up the vibe that, how do I put this? Sorry, I'm getting so tongue-tied. It's like you've heard something and you're not upset by it, but it is kind of overwhelming to contemplate. And so you're not really sure where to go next with that sort of information or energy. So you have all these ideas, you want to approach handling it and understanding it. And again, it's not going to upset you. What upsets you is feeling so pulled apart. That we can see that here over in the Knight of Wands. And it might even make you want to just almost like, in order to best understand and work with that information, make you focus too much on that sort of, we'll just call it an epiphany for now, this understanding that you're going to have from this could potentially be a dream or some sort of connection you have. Whatever it is, you're going to want to initially focus on it. But the problem is, and this is where you're going to kind of want to shift your attention, is the more you kind of fixate on it and think that you need to have the answer to what to do with that information now, the more scattered you're going to feel. And so the way you're going to kind of come out of this energy and get redirected and take this all in a more positive light, and then be able to kind of not get lost in this accidentally for a couple days, is just simply by cleaning your house. This is a great activity where you can feel like you are in somewhat control and you're focused. And remember, this is not about cleaning your room or house in a like actually make it clean kind of way. If you want to do that, that's fine. Consider it like maybe you take the time to move around all your furniture and see how your space can change and grow. It's just like a really therapeutic, cleansing, creative concept where it keeps your mind from thinking it needs to do 5 different things at once, and it can just focus on one and focus on something that's outside of the situation. This is going to be a beneficial activity. It's going to be fun. It's going to, again, get those creative juices flowing, and you're going to be just really happy to feel a little more like yourself, and then allow this to kind of be something that marinates that you'll come back to. But then here's the cool, interesting part in the end of the week that I love for you. Now, this could be something for, like, this is a general reading, so this could be a bunch of different situations or people or things, but let me give you like the general situation going on. It's interesting. It kind of almost looks like you're the one telling somebody else some sort of secret. Now, the thing that could be anything. That could be, hey, I've been having these dreams. This could be something like a professing your feelings to somebody else. But whatever it is, and this can include friendship too or whatever, but it seems like you're going to be divulging by the end of the week some pretty, some information you keep close to your chest that you don't tell other people. But here's the really cool part. When you initially do this, you're going to definitely approach them with this sort of vibe where, and this is how you know the type of person, or not the type of, understand the situation, that this is the particular situation out of other situations, like we're connecting to this one. When you're telling them this secret, you're not even going to know necessarily how, like, they're going to respond. So it's going to feel like you're sort of tiptoeing. You're kind of like trying to express it in the most careful light, kind of divulging more and more information as you express it in further detail, not everything at once, because you're just kind of nervous expressing this idea. But here's the cool part. When we've got the very end of the week, we have a confirmation that not only are they down with whatever information you're telling them and they support you, or they feel that way back, there's this sort of confirmation. Oh, I'm so sorry, I bumped the mic again. There's this sort of confirmation they're giving back to you, that they plan, because you told them this secret, they then in turn are letting you know that they're in it for the long haul. They're like, yes, I accept what you said. I want to keep getting to know you. For some people who it's like a crush situation, this is like the beginning of, seeing where the two of you go, and them saying like, yep, I would like to be with you in that kind of way. For some of you guys, it's like a friendship thing, and them saying like, me too, I feel you. I want to keep getting to know this side of you. I feel like closer friends now. Either way, it's this great happy release of something you've been keeping that in turn creates a deeper bond with someone else, which I really love and is beautiful. I do want to point out, Spirit keeps showing me a stick. Like a stick is being given. It's like, it's so interesting. It's like a gift is being given in the moment to you, but this gift is not, it's not like an actual present. It's kind of like they're sitting next to you, you're telling them how you feel, and they kind of pick a little flower that's just sitting in the grass and they hand it to you. You know what I mean? They like hand you a random stick, and you kind of both laugh for a second. It's nothing other than kind of a metaphorical showing like, hey, I'm offering myself to you now. So really cute, sweet, very much like an indie movie. Live your best indie movie dream life this week. I'm super excited for you. Get amped. Just go with it. Go with the flow. Get re-grounded throughout the week, and then from there, in a way, you're kind of figuring stuff out and then letting other people know about it. But again, this secret does not have to directly involve back to that, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, for like 90% of you, it's going to be something totally separate you're divulging. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please consider giving the video a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I am wishing you the best, and I will see you in the next one. Let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's look at your weekly forecast by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Strength, upright. Your tarot cards are Page of Swords in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse, Seven of Swords in reverse, upright, reverse, Queen of Pentacles upright, Six of Cups upright, and Two of Cups in reverse. Ooh, interesting. I think that the Strength card is a perfect description or thesis for your week, to be honest with you, because the best way I can describe your week is, and we'll go into this more as I divulge more information, but let's go into the information first and then we'll go over the thesis. But the best way I would express your week is finding a sense of self-love and confidence and understanding yourself and who you are and what you want to represent, all that jazz, aggressively. It's like aggressive self-love is the best way to put it. By the way, I'm so sorry for the super loud plane going overhead. I don't know why they're just being so loud right now. So apologies. Hopefully that's not too annoying. Anyways, so let's go back to this going on. Aggressive self-love is the name of the game for you this week. And you're going to find it in a way that you had not anticipated before, because this does not feel like your default personality, so to speak. So, Page of Swords in reverse is a person who puts themselves down. This is stale energy, I want to point out. It's been there for a hot minute, you've been needing to get rid of it for a while, and you actually haven't been aware you've been doing, which is when you kind of already think that you're going to lose, or you're already not good enough. You're already assuming the worst for yourself and the worst of your worth. Like, you don't think you're worth enough already before you've even compared yourself to anyone else, which you should never compare yourself. But I'm just saying, if you're thinking in that sort of mind frame, it's already illogical that you haven't even seen your quote unquote competition, essentially. So this is when you're just not feeling good about yourself, you're putting yourself down. Now, I do want to point out that you've been doing this for a while, but you haven't been aware you've been doing it because it's really subtle. It's like, oh, haha, no, not me. I don't know if I could do that. Oh, I'm sure I'm not going to get it. It's very casual. It's very, small, but it's been adding up. I will, give you the positive confirmation that this is not irrevocable damage, lots of years of overcoming it. Not at all. It's just kind of been around unintentionally for a little while, and now it's time to clean that energy out, essentially. So this is how it gets cleaned out, and it's not what you anticipated. It's not affirmations. It's not, a nice night in where you give yourself like a facial or something. No, not at all. It looks like somebody is going to be coming to you with like a secret, but secret's like a super loose term. This is going to be hard for me to express, so I'll do the best I can. It's kind of like they're giving you some sort of information that they are trying to keep from others, but it feels like a problem that they're kind of cluing you in, and it's a little bit risky that they're trying to involve you. They're not trying to pass responsibility upon you, onto you. It's just like, once you hear it, you're like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't need it. And it seems like you're going to get pretty defensive with them and be like, no, this is not who I am. I don't deserve this. And this is where the aggressive self-love comes in, because you're kind of, so to speak, triggered into suddenly knowing that you don't want this and you don't want to take it. That by default is setting sort of a parameter and defining who you truly are. And this is a good version of yourself you're defending, the core version of yourself that's always been there and that you haven't been getting enough love. You're basically saying, I'm worth more. I don't deserve to take this on. Now, I'm making this sound very dramatic, and with tarot it always comes across as very dramatic, but this is not going to be like a huge fight or really scary stuff they're trying to throw your way. It's just like a sudden change in mood and kind of like a slight sort of argument, so to speak. So expect for your inner knight to come out, so to speak. But this is when we have the Queen of Pentacles popping up. Now, I'm getting a strong like older woman vibe. This could potentially be like a mom or an aunt or a female figure, but I try to keep these things pretty open. Either way, this is a female for sure who is coming through and is kind of cluing you in and pointing it out and agreeing with you and basically like observing from the distance and waiting to support you. Like they're seeing that this person's trying to prove this action to you and they really love seeing you defend yourself, and they basically are there so you can kind of vent to them and be like, I can't believe they did this to me. This isn't really cool. Why did they do this? And then they're there to give you the true version of love and respect and kind of emanate what you're naturally going to be more attuned with. Not necessarily specifically in this week. It's like this is the beginning stages of you becoming re-in-tuned with this sort of energy, because the Queen of Pentacles represents somebody who's doing so well, has so much love within her, so much money, that by default her brain is like, oh my gosh, of course I'm going to share this with everybody else, because if I'm doing well, everybody's doing well. And then in turn she would love other people to emanate that kind of an energy and then create a domino effect of everybody benefiting from doing well and feeling good. And so it's like she sees that for you, she picks up on that energy, she wants to support you, she wants to give you that natural energy she has in her to you. And then it's just kind of like, it's not that you're necessarily going to pick up that energy and then be that way, but you're definitely going to benefit from that vibe, and this is going to act as a sort of like emotional confirmation that you did the right thing, so to speak. I want to just take a moment though before I finish up here and talk about the Strength card and the thesis of it. I will point out that I am being strongly told about nature walks for a lot of you. It's a week of nature for sure for you guys. And the thing that's interesting is I keep being shown bare feet on moss, which is really cool. Something really interesting is a lot of people use the term grounding. And grounding is something that can actually be done specifically through meditation. There's a ton of different ways to ground yourself. In fact, actually, I'm going to make a video very soon about a very unique way you can ground yourself through a fun like beauty technique, so it can affect both positively your beauty and you can feel more grounded. And grounded helps you feel like really strong in your stance. You don't feel like your mind is running a mile a minute, and it enables you to handle like really heightened levels of spirituality or inspiration. So you kind of want to find that healthy balance. So you can do grounding by going out into nature or even sitting in your room or whatever, and you think of roots coming out of the spine of your back into the earth. And again, if you're in the house, you can think of those roots reaching all the way through the different levels into the ground. And then you want to think of the earth sending you its energy through like whatever color light you connect to. We could say white light, golden light, whatever, pink light, green light. And it sends it up your roots, through your back, your spine, all through your body, out through your head, and then it kind of comes out like a beautiful waterfall or shower back into the ground. And so you're in this really gorgeous, like mutualistic relationship with the earth, where the earth is teaching you to be stronger and more stoic and unmovable, and then you're in turn benefiting the earth because you feel you have something, you feel you're worthy enough to benefit the earth as well. And then it's like you're helping each other. So it's a really great technique I highly recommend. But anyways, so I just want to put that out there. Nature walks, grounding, yeah. So the Strength card is really amazing because this is a really great energy, and I would say kind of borderline intense, but it's the type of energy that gives you strength. It's the energy that pops up when you're being tested, because it's basically the universe saying, I'm giving you that extra level of bravery, that extra level of certainty, and again, strength to help you through this time. But it's a card that points out that it's important for you to be tested and go through this right now, or kind of defend yourself, because this is kind of one of those situations where like people show you who they are kind of thing. And essentially it's understanding that things need to happen in order to show how strong certain bonds are. That is definitely something key I want to talk about over here. So this is about the bond within yourself, the bond with friends, who's your friend, who's not your friend. Because if somebody's truly like a connection for you, who cares if it gets shaken? It's only going to, this card basically says by it getting shaken, it's only going to get stronger. And if it breaks, good. We don't need any loose ties here. You know what I mean? But either way, you're going to find with this sort of energy flowing in with the certain type of events that are coming out this week, you're going to be able to handle this way easier. Then you're going to be like, who am I? How am I handling this so well? You know what I mean? You're going to feel like a main character in a movie, which is really cool. And this is the climax, so to speak. So after you receive that sort of support from this person, and you're picking up this sort of energy to kind of help carry you out through the week, this is super interesting for me. So the main energy you're going to want to go towards, but be warned of. So this is the warning. This is the go towards. This is the type of energy that just really connects you to what you truly want to do. A lot of people view this as like your inner child, but think of this as simplifying what you want to do and how you want to feel by tuning into your like kind of gut instincts, that version of yourself. So you stop and you go, what do I want to do? And you're like, I just kind of want to go run through the, I bumped the mic. I want to go run through the rain. I want to just sit down, have some junk food, and watch this TV show I haven't seen in 10 years. You know what I mean? It's that sort of really happy, sweet, simple vibe. And notice this adult going away in the background. Consider that the adult version of yourself that's jaded and doesn't find anything special and is kind of over it. This is you essentially connecting with that, like leaving that behind and reconnecting to that version of yourself. It's super comforting after this type of thing. Also, now that you've defended yourself and understand your value better, it's like softening and comforting that value and being like, yeah, you are special, you are wonderful, hold my hand, take good care of yourself. So this is the type of person you want to connect with. This is the type of energy you want to emanate, activities you want to do and have fun. But then here is, now I'm not sure, this almost feels like it's a second person popping up. But this seems like someone's going to pop up, and initially you're going to have fun with them and you're going to have a good time in the beginning of the hangout session. And somewhere, I'm being really specifically told it's going to be like an hour in, it's going to be pretty soon in, maybe 2 hours of hanging out, you're going to realize you guys are kind of like off. And it's nothing major. They're not like betraying you or putting you in a situation like this other person is. It just feels like you realize, pardon me, I'm like having hiccups and stuff right now. My inner child's coming out. This is somebody who's either just like not getting what you're expressing, or maybe they're more interested in taking rather than giving. That something just kind of like feels off, and they're not a bad person. You guys are just not hanging out when you both have the same intentions. And because they're not interested in this sort of energy and vibe, and they might even disagree and create some sort of mental obstacles, not unlike what you were dealing with personally in the beginning of the week, this is somebody you're going to really quickly go, hey, I'll talk to you later, let's hang out later. And then you're going to want to get away from them and either hang out with someone else that does resonate with this energy, or you're like, what, I'll just go be by myself and be silly and have fun and collect flowers and press them in a book, and like whatever you vibe with. There's no wrong or right way to have this sort of fun loving, just what feels like good in your heart and is simple and happy type of vibe. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you're being reminded by the end of the week, by the universe, of being like, hey, remember, this sort of energy here and here can sneak back in really subtle ways. It doesn't have to be dramatic or intense or super negative. Remember, you don't want this energy anymore. You're a new person. This is what you want to foster and give love to. You've had the strength during the week. This is super easy. Get this out of here. So definitely just keep that in mind. You're going to end the week having fun and feel like way better. This is something of note I want to point out. You didn't know you felt bad. And then when it's gone, you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know I could feel better. Does that make sense? So I'm excited. It is going to ultimately be a really positive, strong week and feel super easy to handle all of this stuff. So yay! If you enjoy this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. I will see you in the next one, and I'm wishing you the best. Have a lovely day. Let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out your weekly forecast by looking at the cards. We've got, the Oracle card Listening. I like to consider this quite a mysterious card. You'll see what I mean when I get more into it, but I don't know, it just always feels very mysterious to me, very helpful. Your tarot cards are 7 of Cups in reverse, King of Pentacles upright, 6 of Wands upright, King of Cups upright, 4 of Wands upright, and Queen of Swords upright. Interesting. Very interesting. The reason why I think this is so interesting is, so I'm going to be honest with you, this is like above average week for you. This is going to be a really happy, wonderful, you're going to get a lot of gifts, you know what I mean, kind of week. But you seem to be being told something that's almost like a tone to it. It's not negative, and I don't see any negative cards, but it's one of those, sometimes in tarot you'll be getting advice that you wouldn't anticipate to correlate with other good stuff. So you're kind of like, are you trying to tell me something? Are you warning me of something? And you're not. But it's still an interesting bit of sort of guidance you're being given. So I look forward to divulging more into that. So the name of the game this week is about manifesting for you. And the thing that's really interesting that I would say is the thesis of this spread is everybody talks about being able to manifest, but nobody talks about what do you do after you can manifest, or how you should continue that momentum and keep it safe and keep it going, so to speak. So let's first talk about the beginning of this week. It is awesome for you. I can see in the 7 of Cups, you have been being given multiple options. Now, these options can be anything from like multiple people showing they're interested in you, to you have all these different projects you work on, you're not really sure what to go into first. But either way, it definitely feels more drawn to the style in which you want to manifest. This is something that's been important to you for like a hot minute, and you've kind of been like the last couple days like seeing videos about it. You're just kind of being drawn in that direction, and you're like, I don't know, should I be scripting? Should I be thinking about it? And you're just kind of like, what do I do? Nothing too panicky, but because you're kind of bouncing a bit, you've only been stuck in that bouncing around section, which is really cool. I do want to point out that there are like tons of different ways to manifest, and there's no right or wrong way, but you will find particular methods that have an above average level of success that you'll be like, okay, this is my method. And it looks like at the beginning of the week, you figure it out. You're like, you know what? I'm going to just stick to this concept, this idea of manifesting. And you pretty much instantly manifest. And it gets even cooler because not only do you instantly manifest the thing that you wanted, I do want to point out that this doesn't feel like a big thing you've manifested, like, you know, your dream job kind of concept, but it's big enough. I'm sorry, I'm getting pulled. Sometimes I'll feel like energies that are too complex for me to properly explain into words, which is not helpful for you, but I'm doing my best. It's big enough that other people care about it, but it's not like your lifelong dream. Or is it? I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be wish-washy. I'm not normally like this, but I'm definitely being pulled both ways. We'll just leave it at you manifest something. Anyways, but what's so cool about this is this particular method you choose and you have this success for, we're getting confirmation that this is your secret way that you make things come into your life. And you've figured out like, oh, like something clicked into your brain where you're you're like, I get it. Something that's really hard to express to people is once you're there and you're in the flow of the universe and you figure out how to make things come to you and make all your dreams come true instantly, it's so hard to then explain back to your former self, especially if you kind of get out of sync with it or you want to help other people and tell them about it. So that's why a lot of the times if you see videos and people talk about manifestation and it just kind of feels like you just don't connect to their messages, it's because what they're saying is still valid, but it's more complex to snap into mentally. It's like they're fully fathoming the idea, but it's hard to express these energies and these mindsets, so they can only simplify it and be like, oh, speak positively. You know what I'm saying? Well, whatever it is, something got clicked and unlocked and you're there. So yay, good for you. Keep practicing that method. That seems to be your, how you function, which is great. But over here, we've got the Six of Wands. It looks like it's really going to lead to a general heightened likability in your household and in general with people around you. It's like everybody can sense that you're able to do this and they want a piece of the pie, so to speak. So expect a lot of compliments, a lot of people just wanting to hang out with you, just wanting to kind of celebrate you being you. It's a strong likability factor kind of week, which is great. And I definitely keep being shown some sort of like mini celebration or party, like a family dinner. And remember, family dinners can totally count with roommates, you know what I mean? Like everybody's got their own version of their little community, whatever it is, it just feels like there is some sort of mini celebration. This is why I kept being pulled back and forth of how intense the manifestation was, because I feel like if it was really intense, you would all like let's say you got your dream job or whatever, it would make sense that all your the people who care about you would want to celebrate that with you. That's why I'm getting pulled around. But the thing is, sometimes people just really like you and want to hang out with you, and it's just like a fun mini party time. Whatever it is, it's awesome and it's great. Now here's where the tone gets kind of interesting or mysterious that I want to note and pull out. So when we have a Four of Wands situation, this essentially says that now that you've figured out how to manifest it, in order to keep being in that flow and enable that ability to get stronger, you're going to want to make sure you have a very sound support system around you. Anybody who's trying to feed you doubt or not agree with it, they're not in your crew. They're not in it. You're trying to look for those people that are like-minded or want that for you, and you want that around you, because it seems like you do have it. You're going to find it and you're going to connect to it very easily, which is great. But it is about identifying and pulling away from the people that don't continue that flow for you, and then really embracing and being extra social with those people that do, in order to kind of heighten and magnify and amplify that energy and really kind of think of it like this. So there's two metaphors I want you to contemplate right now. So sometimes when we understand something or we feel good about ourselves, think of it like a little seed that just got planted in your garden. Well, if it's just a sapling, like it barely just got started, and someone comes over and really pours on a lot of criticism or does something that tests that idea a little too much, it's like stomping on like a sapling or seed. like it's not strong enough yet. Its roots aren't really deep. So that's why often when we develop these abilities, or like whether it be for self-love or confidence or manifesting, whatever you just developed, you kind of want to protect it for a little while until it gets stronger. So think of it in that way. And the other metaphor I want you to think about with the Four of Wands is sometimes when you're talking about something a lot, especially with friends, you feel that energy more. Like, do you ever talk about like somebody you really have a crush on and you just feel more and more in love with that other person as you gossip about it with your friend or whatever like that? Or you're talking about all these creative ideas you have, and then suddenly you're filled with this rush of energy that you want to go out and work on these projects. It's like that, but again, with this new ability you've harnessed, right? But that being and keeping in mind, we get the King of Cups and the Listening Oracle card, which are not too far off from each other. So the King of Cups is somebody who's able to process and understand everybody's emotions, suggesting that people are somehow coming to you and maybe wanting a piece of your pie, but you have to decide, like, how do I say this? Okay. I just figured it out. Sorry. Sometimes in tarot, you have to talk these things out before they click. So because everyone likes you and is coming to you, you're going to get a King of the Cups situation, which is when you are understanding everybody's perspective on a deep, complex emotional level. You're kind of a combination of devil's advocate, where you can understand why they did it and understand why they shouldn't do it. And you're not able to get swept up. You're not going to get swept up emotionally. It's not going to bring you down in any way. And you're very helpful and you've got great advice. But here's something to consider when we have the listening oracle card. The listening oracle card essentially says, now is the time to be a listener. The King of Cups is a listener. Listen to what they're saying. Don't push them right away. This is how you're going to find your support system. Because the listening oracle card says it's important to not only understand what people are saying and how they're saying it, but it's about understanding what they're not saying. What is not being expressed and almost avoided. This is how you're going to understand who's on your side, who's not on your side, or rather, sometimes people might love you and support you, but just unfortunately be an inherently negative person, or, they're not at your stage. And because you're such a baby sapling in this new ability, you just kind of can't afford to have that around you at the moment. We send them love and compassion, but you're not an inherently bad person if you want to flow towards more like-minded people, if that makes sense. And you're going to be super emotionally sound to be able to handle this. So you're not going to take on any of their energy, but through this technique, you're going to, because so many people are going to be drawn to you due to this likability factor you're pushing out. This is going to then help you kind of weed through who you really want on your team, who you don't, for these reasons, and then therefore build your support system and then move forward. And the last card I want to go over, which I think is really interesting, is the Queen of Swords. It's interesting. You don't seem like you're attacking anybody. You're not telling this to your support system. It's almost like you're ending the week to yourself, out to the universe, where you're just really being honest with yourself and speaking your truth moving forward. This is somebody who's kind of like almost brutally honest. That's why she's got her pointed sword out. It can kind of hurt being as honest as she is. But she is somebody who's honest because she understands the overall long-term benefit of just getting, cutting through the fat, getting right to the point. And it feels like you understand something, you enjoy and you celebrate that you've developed this new ability and understanding. You kind of contemplate, figure some stuff out, observe, then you make decisions in order to build the sort of armor or support system or garden fence that's going to allow your saplings to grow and keep this energy going. And then you're going to feel like you've understood some things, feel better about yourself, and you're like, you know what? I just want to be really honest about what I want in order to keep this momentum going. And I feel this is the best way to do it, by telling people I can't hang out now, or being really honest with other people, being like, I don't care if you don't believe in me, this is what I want, this is who I am. So really empowering, strong energy that gives you better, more specific guidance where you can then keep fostering that, because that's just how it is. That is just how the cookie crumbles. You'll have a moment where you feel like you understood something and then someone accidentally got in your way, or you were trying to help someone else and you didn't mean to get sucked into their drama and then lose your ability you worked so hard for. So this is how you can maintain it. You're going to do great. I'm so excited for you in this instant manifestation, as well as developing and understanding the ability in order to do so. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, please consider giving the video a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a lovely day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready. Oh, have a lovely day. Yeah. Let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Guys, I cannot even think right now. I was, putting the cards together and grabbing the next group when, I don't know if you guys have, if people watching this video have watched my last one, but 3 finches just showed up. And I am not in a position where I live where it's really possible for I don't know what the motivation would be to come visit me. Does that make sense? Like, there are closer forms of nature and easier routes, and I didn't have anything to offer them, but they were there, and I'm just so thankful and appreciative, and I can't even get into it. You have to watch my last video to know what I'm talking about, but it's so cool, and I'm so appreciative this just keeps happening. Anyways, group number 4. Let's talk about your weekly forecast and look at the card by looking at the cards. Oh my God, so wild. I love life. Oh, wow. Sorry, I was so caught up in my own little bird experience. I did not even see Education Oracle card in reverse. I'll be honest with you, we're going to have to look at the other cards, but you just got called out. It's a bit, sometimes some of these cards are quite harsh, and I try to, deliver the message in the more helpful, softer version, and that's definitely what's going on over here. So, yeah, okay, super interesting. This is great calling out energy because you're essentially going to be given an awesome financial opportunity, which I'm so excited and pumped for you pretty much in the beginning of the week, which is great. But as you go into this opportunity, this is this sort of like, we'll just call it like brutal honesty that needs to be known and aware of so you don't accidentally get tripped up is the best way. And you can kind of keep that momentum going because there is a certain mindset that you could argue has gotten you this far, but now is the time to evolve through that or past that in order to experience more and receive even more, which is really cool. So right off the bat, we're getting a confirmation that this is somebody who is doing really well in their life. And they're like, you know what? I'm feeling so good. I want you to feel good. And they seem like they're giving you some sort of like, this could potentially be like a job opportunity. I'll be honest with you. I'm really strongly being told by Spirit that this is like a family friend of some sort. But either way, this family friend or whoever that gives you this opportunity is coming from a place because they have too much of it. So they often say that it's best to be surrounded by other successful people in order to be a successful person. So something to just kind of consider. Very cool. I'm excited for you. But here's where the whole tripping up comes in. So education in reverse is kind of brutal. It basically says you shouldn't hold on to the desire to want to be right all the time, that you shouldn't think you quote unquote know it all. Now, I just want to be clear, I am not picking up on a know-it-all energy. So I just want to say that might be how the card expresses itself, but that's not who I'm connecting to right now is the best way I can put it. But it is basically saying that if you feel that you need to, how do I put this? I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts here. This card pops up when people are really good at looking like they know it all. And this is saying that's not going to work for you anymore. You actually need to learn more. And what you're doing right now is essentially like skimming the surface of knowledge. And by always thinking you have to know it all or you have to come across that way in order to appear confident and knowledgeable, you're actually preventing new stuff from coming in your life. That it's really positive and beneficial if you say, yeah, I don't know. Could you teach me? Oh, I'm open to learning more about that. I only know so much. Or I'm aware of it, but yeah, I'm not really familiar with it. This is the time to do that in order to keep that momentum going. I think a lot of it's coming from a fear of this person that I feel like you know them. I'm not getting a 6 of Cups situation, but Spirit just keeps telling me you're aware of them. And they know you a certain way. You come across a certain way to them. It's scary to think that you could let them down and then they might regret giving you, like this is like going on in your head that you're like, oh, will they not want to work with me if I truly don't know the subject they're teaching me or whatever. And this is essentially saying, no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. I can see that confirmation over here when we have a world card in reverse. This is somebody who feels like they're losing because they need a win. They need to be proven with, we'll just call it like a trophy, but it's like anything from a confirmation or being like complimented. It's not an ego thing out of like, yes, please compliment me. This is the life I want to live. This is coming from somebody who is like hurting, and they're like, I don't know if I'm doing right. Am I doing the right thing? Please let me know I'm doing the right thing. And this is because of the motivation in the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. You're hoping to, as you can see from like this mirror image, it's like you're hoping to match that energy. You just don't feel like you want to, you have the incentive to, but you're also being confirmed that you're not at that level that they are. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. Keep in mind the World card being there at all is extremely positive, because this talks about the idea of something coming to a head or concluding. But when it's in reverse, it's like something's stopping it, and you're the one stopping it. And essentially this week, it's about turning that World card upright and finally overcoming this thing that's kind of been slightly defining and plaguing you a little bit for a while. Yes, we can compliment it. It's done a good job. It's gotten you this opportunity. It's helped you connect with this person to have more success in the long term. They're a very successful person. You can learn from them. You want to be around them, but you do not have to be exactly who they are, because you can't be, and you're not meant to be. So once you get there, you can from that point be like, yep, you're right, I do know quite a bit, but I'm open to learning more. That's where that mindset gets repeated again here. It's just pretty much like a repeat of the same idea. Ace of Swords talks about having like a new mindset, but is able to have better judgment by overcoming what's over here in the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is somebody who is actually kind of getting everything they want. So again, this is like, we're getting like, I'm so sorry for the planes that are just, for whatever reason, I have like 4 planes going over my house right now. The Nine of Cups is a really positive confirmation that this is going to be a financial opportunity you're going to love. It's going to be pretty much almost nearly exactly what you want it to be, like 98%. But when it's in reverse, it's coming from the perspective of someone who's still trying to point out the flaws of the situation. Not the flaws in the job, to be honest with you. I'm getting much more of a heavier energy of you pointing out the flaws within yourself and what you're capable of doing. And by the end of the week, you kind of realize, like, you know what? It's okay to be vulnerable and open and learn more. And there's so much learning, and there's this like gift in order. There's a true gift in receiving knowledge for the first time, and you kind of fall in love with it all over again. That's the thing that motivated you in the first place to be someone that came across as very knowledgeable, and you kind of overcome that super idealized, over perfectionist sort of everything's got to be this perfect way, and you suddenly wake up and realize everything is really great and is really awesome. And there's these things that look like holes in the ground or of your plan are actually opportunities for it to get even better. Think of it like there's a garden and there's a bunch of holes in your garden, and you'd love to fill it up, and it's frustrating that there's not a flower to put there. But the thing is, your garden is gorgeous, and these holes imply that there can be even more flowers, even more beauty in your space. So things are going to change for you in a lot of beneficial ways this week. You're going to have a great new financial opportunity. You're going to connect with someone who's in the long term going to teach you to really attract more success in your life. You're going to learn a lot from them, and definitely pay attention to something I'm being told about is their habits. Like, mimic their habits. They've got some great successful person habits you might want to take on, but you're also going to overcome something that has been preventing you from really going to the next level with your experience in the world and knowledge. So I'm excited for you for overcoming that. And again, just want to triple confirm that this is going to be a pretty idyllic situation. So allow yourself to enjoy it. If you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a lovely day. I will talk to you in the next one. Bye!